Ever wondered what exactly a computer is? Well, let's break it down. A computer is an electronic device that accepts data, manipulates it, and produces results. These results are then stored within the computer's own memory for future use. Now let's talk about the three main functions of a computer: input, process, and output. The input is any data or instructions entered into the computer. This could be audio, video, graphics, animations, or even commands and user responses. Then comes the process. This is where the computer program enters the scene. It analyzes, sorts, summarizes, and calculates the input data to make it usable. This is done by the computer's central processing unit, or CPU. Finally, we have the output. This is the processed data in a form that's useful to us. It could be text, audio, video, graphics, animations, basically anything that the computer has processed from the input. So, in essence, a computer is a versatile machine that processes data and turns it into useful information. Now that we understand what a computer is, let's delve deeper into its components. A computer is composed of three main parts: input devices, the central processing unit or CPU, and output devices. Let's start with the input devices. These are the tools we use to communicate with our computer. They include things like your keyboard, where you type commands and text, or your mouse, which you use to navigate and select options. Other input devices may include a microphone for audio input, a scanner for converting physical images and documents into digital form, or even a touchscreen that combines the functionality of a screen and a mouse. Next, we have the central processing unit, also known as the CPU or the brain of the computer. This is where all the magic happens. The CPU takes the data from the input devices and processes it based on the instructions provided. It performs all the calculations, runs all your programs, and essentially makes everything work. The speed and efficiency of your CPU play a big role in how fast your computer can operate. Finally, we have the output devices. Once the CPU has processed the data, the results need to be communicated back to us. This is where the output devices come in. Your computer screen, for instance, displays text, images, and videos. Your speakers play audio. Printers produce hard copies of digital documents. But how do these components work together? They follow what's known as the information process cycle. First, you provide input through one of the input devices. This data is then sent to the CPU, which processes it. The results of this processing are then sent to an output device, so you can see, hear, or otherwise perceive them. And of course, all this information can be stored for future use. From the keyboard you type on to the screen you read from, every component plays an essential role in the functioning of a computer. Understanding these components and how they work together can help us better appreciate the complexity and intelligence of these machines we use every day. You've probably heard the terms data and information used interchangeably, but in the world of computers, they have distinct meanings. Let's dive in. Data refers to raw facts, figures, events, and transactions. It's like the ingredients before you bake a cake: flour, sugar, eggs. Individually, they don't tell you much, but they hold potential. On the other hand, information is the finished cake. It's data that has been processed into a usable form. For example, the responses to a market research survey are data, but when analyzed and interpreted, they become information, revealing trends and insights about consumer behavior. Similarly, the National Database and Registration Authority collects data from citizens to create computerized national identity cards. This data, once processed and organized, becomes useful information. So remember, data is the raw input that gets processed into meaningful information. Let's wrap up what we've learned today. We started with understanding what a computer is: an electronic device that takes in input, processes it, and produces output. We delved into the main components of a computer, which include input devices, the central processing unit or CPU, and output devices. We learned that these components work together in a cycle of input, output, and processing to carry out the instructions given to a computer. We also differentiated between data and information. While data consists of raw facts, figures, and events, information is processed data that has been converted into a meaningful, usable form. It's fascinating to realize that every time we use a computer, there are a plethora of processes happening behind the scenes, turning our inputs into outputs. So the next time you use a computer, you'll know exactly what's happening behind the scenes. Until next time.